Good evening. I hope you are having a great day wherever you are. If you're watching this live on Twitch, thank you very much for being here. Drop a comment into the live chat as the stream goes, and we will have a little talk about tomorrow night's fights at UFC on ESPN 6. If you're watching this video after the fact on YouTube, please hit the like button below and also subscribe if you haven't already. And I just want to let you guys know that I won't be doing many breakdown videos this weekend. This is a week which is very unusual. Obviously, the UFC is taking place on the Friday instead of the Saturday, which means I get one less day to research the fights. And I still have quite a good amount of fights still to research, so don't have time to do that many videos this week, but hopefully next week I'll be able to put out a lot more. But I will be doing a couple more live streams for a few of the fights coming up this weekend. We'll do some live research sessions coming up over the next 24 hours or so. So big thank you to everyone that is watching this live stream right by here. What we are going to do in this live stream is we are going to be taking a look at the early weigh-in highlights from UFC Boston, and then in around 15 minutes the ceremonial weigh-ins are scheduled to start on the UFC's YouTube channel, so we will be watching them together live as they happen, and I will be giving you my thoughts on, you know, how I think each of the fighters looks. Basically, you know, if they look different to usual, if there's any red flags with how they're basically looking at the weigh-in. So I thought we would kick things off by watching the UFC Boston weigh-in highlights from earlier on today. These weigh-ins took place around about 6 hours ago. A couple fighters missed weight as well. We're using MMA Junkie's video for this, so big shout out to MMA Junkie for putting this content together. And we also want to have a look at the actual documented weigh-ins, because obviously we're not going to be playing sound, so we won't actually know which fighters miss weight, although I think it is Deron Wynn and Manny Bermudez. Where are the weigh-in results? Where are the weigh-in results? Usually they're on here somewhere. Okay, not anywhere to be found there. Let's try MMAfighting.com. Where are we? Weigh-in video. Here we go. So, yeah, Deron Wynn missed weight and Manny Bermudez missed weight. So we know to look out for those guys. And also let's bring up the fight card there on Tapology as well. So cool. Everyone ready to go? We've got just over 10 minutes to watch this 5-minute video and take a deep dive into it. Let's take a look. So, you know, Tanner Boser, first time we've seen him weighing in the UFC, weighing in at 247 pounds. Oh, it's quite handy how MMA Junkie have given us how much they weighed there. Very, very nice. You know, middle of the road for a heavyweight. You know, the maximum scale of heavyweights weighing in around 265 pounds. The ones on the lighter side, 230 to 235 pounds. So Tanner Boser right in the middle there. Spitz looking in pretty good shape here. He weighs in at 240 pounds. Bit lighter than Boser, but certainly looks in very good shape here. What are the odds on Spitz? Around about the same as where they were when I put that live research breakdown video out. It's currently around about 2.20 plus 120. Spitz definitely one of the more interesting underdogs this weekend, although only a slight underdog. Kevin Holland looking pretty good here, looking pretty healthy, weighing in at 185 pounds. He is taking on Brendan Allen. It is Brendan Allen's UFC debut. Difficult to gauge, you know, how Brendan Allen looks compared to usual, because this is UFC debut. Haven't seen him weigh in before. This is going to be Sean Brady, weighing in at 167.5 pounds. Very interesting. I have recorded a breakdown video for this. We live streamed my research session for this earlier on this afternoon, but I haven't posted it yet because I don't want to influence the odds on this fight. But one of the things we were discussing was that Sean Brady is very undersized for the division. You can see here that he is only 5'9" with a 72.5-inch reach, which is a very small wingspan for a welterweight. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks compared to Court McGee at the ceremonial weigh-ins, and how big of a size advantage, if any, McGee may have. McGee looking pretty standard there, rocking the dad bod. He is definitely one of the victims of USADA. I think it's fair to say that. You know, I'll give you an example of what I mean. We can see here he's only 34 years old. He's not too old, but if you look at his physique here and how he looks and compare that to Court McGee earlier on in his career, I think it is fair to say that USADA may have taken his toll on Court McGee. If you take a look at him there, that's a very good example of how he used to look, compared to how he looks here. Not quite the same. USADA derailed many careers, and can't help but feel that Court McGee was another one of those victims. I mean, look, if we can get it up here, if we can minimize that, if we bring that there, and then if we pop this by there, I mean, you can see there's a clear difference. So Court McGee was one of the victims of USADA, but looks pretty standard here, how he has done over the last 2 or 3 years. Next up, this is going to be Boston Salmon. Looks a little bit dehydrated in the lips, not going to lie. Looking a little bit pale, looking a little bit washed out. Fighting against Randy Costa, his second fight in the UFC. Looking very good. Costa looking very, very good. This guy does not look good. This is Sean Woodson. Doesn't look good at all. Looking pretty sucked in, pretty dehydrated. And it's no surprise that he doesn't look that good, because if we look at his stats, you can see that he's abnormally huge for the division. Where are you? Where are you? Here he is, Sean Woodson. So this fight's at 145 pounds featherweight. As you can see here, he's 6'2" with a 79-inch reach. So to put into perspective for you how crazy that is, if we take a look at Greg Hardy and Ben Cizzoli, who are fighting at heavyweight, Greg Hardy is only 6'5" with an 80-inch reach. And Sean Woodson has only got a 1-inch reach shorter than Greg Hardy. Ben Cizzoli, he's small for a heavyweight. But if we take a look at a fighter like, let's just take a look at, say, Spitz, for example. Spitz is 6'7", with an 82-inch reach. And Woodson's fighting in the featherweight division. He's only got a 3-inch shorter reach. That's how big Woodson is for the division. So no surprise that Woodson doesn't look great here at the weigh-ins. Looking very sucked in. Looks like it was a difficult cut for him, but doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out it's going to be a difficult cut. 245 pounds. Botniak looking very good though, which you'd expect him to. In contrast, Botniak on the smaller side for a featherweight at 5'7", one of those guys that's unfortunately trapped between bantamweight and featherweight, where he's too small to be a featherweight, too big to be a bantamweight. But looking pretty good here. Not sure what's going on with the nose though, because he didn't have any damage to his nose during the media day interviews. If you can see, don't want to spread any fake news here, but if we get the fight week interview of him up, if we say Carl Botniak, so yeah, this was his interview from 1 day ago, and as you can see, his nose is absolutely fine. This was the 16th of October, it's the 17th of October today. Botniak looks absolutely fine, so not sure what's going on with his nose. If you do know, please leave a comment in the chat on Twitch, twitch.tv/ twitch.tv/ Diary of a Pro Gambler. Let me know what you know, what's going on with his nose. This is Diana Belbita making her UFC debut against Molly McCann this weekend. We are going to be live researching this fight with Molly McCann later on this evening or possibly tomorrow, so watch out for that. There's a decent amount of footage on and Belbita. Both girls looking pretty good. Manny Bermudez, one of the first fighters to miss weight here, coming in at 148 pounds. Didn't get much of a chance to actually see how he was looking there. Looking pretty normal. I mean, doesn't look like he tried that hard to make weight. Not particularly dehydrated, not particularly sucked in. And I mean, Manny Bermudez's weight cutting issues continue. So if we take a look at his record here, he's 14-1. Wow. Okay. Well. Okay. So he entered the UFC as a bantamweight. Made weight in his debut against Albert Morales. Then he made weight in his second fight at bantamweight against Davy Grant. Then he missed weight by 5 pounds in a bantamweight fight against Benito Lopez, and I believe the fight was switched to a catchweight because of that. And then in his most recent fight, he also looked like he was going to miss weight, so they did a catchweight at 140 pounds, and now he's missed weight again, which is crazy because he fought at bantamweight and missed weight, and now he's moved up a weight class to featherweight and still missed weight. So this is the heaviest we've seen him weigh in, 148 pounds. So definitely Manny Bermudez is a dirty dog. It is fair to say he is a dirty dog. Didn't look like he tried that hard to make weight, but Charles Rosa looks absolutely great here. 1 pound, and well, 2 pounds under the limit, but 1 pound under 145. Rosa looking pretty good. Darren Stewart looking fan-fucking-tastic. Darren Stewart looking phenomenal. It is also worth noting that Darren Stewart has been making huge improvements from fight to fight, over the last couple of years, and that's largely down to the fact that it's only his last 1 or 2 fights where he's been able to afford to quit his job and actually train full time. So that's why you're basically seeing Darren Stewart make massive improvements from fight to fight. He's got more time and money to spend on training properly. But I want to just show you something that's very interesting. As we do know that Deron Winn missed weight. And if we take a look here, you can see that it didn't look like he tried that hard to make weight, if I'm being real. Missed weight by 2.5 pounds, which is pretty fucking shocking. Pretty fucking disrespectful. I mean, guys, does he look like a fighter that tried hard to miss weight to you? Not being disrespectful. But I also want to show you something which is kind of insane. So Deron Winn and Darren Stewart are fighting at middleweight this weekend. 185 pounds at middleweight. Now, Deron Winn is massively undersized for the flyweight division. For the flyweight division, that's quite funny. Massively undersized for the middleweight division at 5'5" with a 71-inch reach. And to show you how crazy that is, if we just look at some of the fighters in the flyweight division, if we look at Sergio Pettis, for example. If we just go to Sergio Pettis' Tapology, you can see that Sergio Pettis is 5'6" with a 79-inch reach, and Deron Winn is 5'5" with a 71-inch reach. So the point I'm trying to make is, if we just go further down the line, look at Brandon Moreno. Not Instagram, we want Tapology. Brandon Moreno is going to be 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. That's another really good example. So the point I'm trying to make is Deron Winn basically has the wingspan of a flyweight. He should be fighting in the flyweight division. I'd even go as far as saying he's the smallest middleweight to ever compete in the UFC. And there are weight classes for a reason. This probably doesn't end well for Winn. But the point I'm ultimately trying to get to is the fact that this guy missed weight at middleweight when he's got the wingspan of a flyweight is quite disgraceful and also quite disrespectful to his opponent. The only way that it would possibly be acceptable is if he is injured or something, and if he's so badly injured that he missed weight for 185 pounds when he's got the wingspan of a flyweight. For him to miss weight that bad means that this guy must have a real fucking serious injury. So worth considering a bet on Darren Stewart this weekend. Very, very interesting. Here we see Gillian Robertson looking like she's had a tough cut, to be fair. Normally Robertson looks pretty good, but doesn't look good here. Face is definitely a little bit sucked in, a bit washed out. Not as good as she usually looks, so possibly a tougher cut than usual for Gillian Robertson, but like an absolute pro, she makes the weight no problem. Macy Barber, now maybe Barber, is this maybe Barber? Who knows, maybe it's Barber, maybe it's not. I think it's Barber. She looks decent on the scales, very happy, very confident, very vibrant, looking pretty damn healthy, and you would expect her to be fair, because don't forget, if we close down these fighters here, don't forget that, where are you, Maybe Barber? Maybe Barber used to fight at strawweight, and she is now competing at flyweight. So no wonder she looks a lot healthier, because she's not killing herself to make 115 pounds. Now this is Jonathan Pierce making his UFC debut against Joe Lauzon, and he looks absolutely outstanding, to be honest. Great shape for his UFC debut. Pierce looking very good, but also, Joe Lauzon not looking too bad either. Joe Lauzon looking pretty damn good. He's had 40 pro fights, been fighting since he was 18. Ben Cezzoli rocking the face tat. Looking pretty standard. Tough 28 tattoo. Pretty ruthlessly tattooed that on his body, considering he lost in the first round. Greg Hardy looking like absolute shit. Very interesting. Hardy looking like shit. You know, you'd expect Hardy to be looking very athletic and in great shape, but not too much better than Ben Sazzoli, to be honest. Here we go, Jeremy Stephens. You know what? That's quite interesting. Jeremy Stephens always looks like death at weigh-ins. Jeremy Stephens never looks very good, but he looks a lot better than usual here. Obviously still a bit sucked in the face, but better than usual, not bad. Jeremy Stephens is one of these weird guys that kills himself to make 145 pounds, but it never seems to affect his cardio or durability. So strange, but I'm sure he'll catch up to him one day. But Yair Rodriguez looking pretty damn good as well. Rodriguez looking great, looking in good shape, looking very healthy, very nice from Mr. Rodriguez. And now this should be the final fight. Oh, look at that, boys, just on time. It is 10 p.m. The ceremonial weigh-ins are just about to start. Weidman not looking great. Weidman not looking great, to be fair. Weidman not looking great. Looks pretty skinny fat, pretty average, to be fair. I mean, I want another little cheeky little look at that. Yeah, bit underwhelming, to be fair. Was hoping Weidman would look a little bit better than this, you know, moving up to 205. Not looking very good at all, in my opinion. If the camera focuses on Mr. Reyes, which it doesn't look like it's going to, because autofocus is not working. Jesus Christ, MMA Junkie, can you afford a decent camera? We don't really get to see Dominic Reyes too good there. But that is it for the early weigh-ins, guys. And like clockwork, the ceremonial weigh-ins should be just about to start. They are scheduled to start 1 minute ago. You know that they're always late, though. Oh, here we go. UFC Boston weigh-ins. So we will leave this running in the background, wait for the ceremonials to start, and I will answer any questions you've got in the live chat on Twitch, guys. Twitch.tv/Diary of a Pro Gambler. Drop your questions in the chat, and we will answer them, boys. We will answer them and get through as many as we can before the ceremonial weigh-in starts. So, Flores Bunny 7 has said McGee doesn't look that good though. Yeah, McGee never looks good, man. Nipple Flicker 8 has said definitely a former steroid user. I'm guessing he's referring to Court McGee. Lidosis 123 has said, yo man, have you got any inside info on the eye of it? Oh, okay, he's talking to Apple Man. Tiny Danza dropping knowledge. So Tiny Danza has let us know that Woodson, Sean Woodson, the guy that is fighting Karl Botniak, here he is. The guy that we mentioned has a crazy frame at 6'2", the 79-inch reach. His first two fights are at middleweight, apparently. Good find. Wow, very, very good find, Tiny Danza, because he went from middleweight to lightweight. And now he's competing at featherweight, which is absolutely insane, really. Absolute craziness. So good find there, mate. White Hat Links has said that Botniak appears to be wearing performance nose tape. I'm not sure what that would do. Turning Screws also saying that it's a breathing strip. Some fighters try some weird shit to cut weight. So that's pretty interesting. Didn't think of that, dude. Nipple Flicker 8 has asked why do I basically think that D-Ron Win has missed weight? And the only thing I can think of is an injury, because he didn't look like he tried that hard. Nizzy 1996 is basically saying how the fuck can D-Ron miss weight when he's 5'6" at 185 pounds. And Irish Brother 40 has responded for me. Irish Brother's response was cheeseburgers. I can't agree with you more, dude. Cannot agree with you more. Turning Screws has said him and DC are on the cupcake diet. What other questions have we got? Flores Bunny saying Greg Hardy looks brain dead. Stylebender 540 has asked if I'm going to make a prediction video for Macy Barber against Gillian Robertson. I am not, unfortunately, mate. With the event being on Friday this week instead of Saturday, I don't have much time to research fights, so don't have very much time to put out breakdown videos this week. But this is it, boys. This is the ceremonial weigh-ins starting. God bless. absolutely God bless Twitch for allowing us to do this. The UFC wouldn't allow us to do this, but we can live stream my reaction to this fight. Now, remember, Spitz is 6'7", so he should tower over Tanner Boser here. And Spitz is looking very, very healthy. Wow, look at that size difference. Spitz looking very, very good here. Very interesting. Spitz with a big size advantage. It's a much, much more physically imposing guy. And when you start to see the fighters face off like this, you really start to get more... it helps you visualize how this fight could play out. And, you know, where I was calling that a 50-50 fight, if you would have watched my breakdown video on it, does this fight now lean much more in Spitz's favour? Because, like I say, guys, there are weight classes for a reason. And it's quite clear Spitz has got a very big size advantage over Boser. This is Kevin Holland now. He is looking very confident as always. Loves a bit of showboating. Loves a little bit of needle. This is Brendan Allen walking out. Was thinking Duke Rufus might have been in his corner. Trains at Rufus Sport, but no Duke Rufus there. Maybe he's flying in tomorrow. So Tiny Danzer has said that Sean Woodson's changed his diet and made other life changes that led to his move from middleweight to lightweight. And no difference in size here. Both guys looking a similar sort of size. And Brendan Allen must have said something a little bit confrontational to Holland there, because Dana stepped in. He wasn't playing games. He got right in the middle of him. So this is Court McGee against Sean Brady. Now remember, we were talking in the breakdown video on Twitch earlier on that Brady, very, very small for the welterweight division. I would probably guess that he's going to try and cut to lightweight after he gets this debut out of the way. Let's see if Court McGee has got any kind of size advantage here, though. You would expect Court McGee to look a much more physically imposing fighter. And shout out to everyone watching on Twitch as well. I really, really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Oh, and also shout out to Tiny Danzer as well. Nice one, dude. Not is he dropping serious knowledge to help us out with this Sean Woodson Botniak fight, but he has also just become a Twitch Prime subscriber, so thanks a lot. And wow, a little bit disappointing. So in terms of the tail of the tape, it looked like Court McGee should have had a decent size advantage over Sean Brady. As you can see there, they're pretty much the same size, so that's a little bit disappointing for me. Was hoping for there to be more of a notable size difference. Nice win, Lidosis, man. I appreciate you too as well, dude. Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks very, very much. Boston Salmon absolutely death-shotted in his last fight against Khalid Taha. Will he do better on Saturday night? He's fighting Randy Costa, another explosive kickboxer. Tiny Danza, the Boston Salmon Randy Costa fight is still one of those ones I've got to research. It's not that high up on my list of priorities just because there's not that much recent footage available on Costa. So haven't got to it yet. That's going to be one of the fights I do tonight. Costa was one of the fighters that looked the best, which is interesting because he gassed out in the second round of his last fight against Brandon Davis, but it was his UFC debut. Can't be too harsh on him. Pretty standard there, no size differences. Both guys looking pretty chill, pretty confident. Now, this is an interesting one, right? One of the more interesting fights to look at from a weigh-in perspective, because Botniak's on the smaller side for a featherweight. Woodson's on the huge side for a featherweight. He might even be the biggest featherweight in the division in terms of wingspan. So it'll be very interesting to see how they look when they face off. Now, what does this size difference actually look like? Oh, and big shout out to Loco Spy as well. Thanks a lot, Loco, for signing up with Twitch Prime. Really, really appreciate it, man. Twitch Prime, pretty awesome. I've had Amazon Prime for years, and I never knew that. I actually never knew that I could subscribe to a Twitch channel for free every month. I had no idea. So, boys, if you do have a Twitch channel, anyone has a Twitch channel, let me know, and I'll use my Amazon Prime on your channel, man. Whoever gets in there first, let me know, and I'll subscribe to you. Don't ever get to watch Twitch, but I'd rather give my money to someone watching this rather than give it to Amazon, man. They got enough money. And this is Carl Botniak, who looked good, to be fair, who looked very, very good. I'm interested to see how these guys face off. How much bigger is Woodson? Real fucking big as it happens. Real fucking big. That puts Botniak at a huge disadvantage. Haven't watched any footage on Woodson yet. I'm actually going to live stream the research for this in a little while, guys. Probably going to get after it pretty soon, actually. In the next couple of hours, we'll start live streaming research for that fight. But Woodson, obviously, with a huge size advantage here. Now, Diana Belbita. This is another one of the fights I'll be live streaming research for. I might even do both of them tonight. You know, we'll probably do Belbita versus McCann next. And she is looking pretty damn confident. Pretty damn good. Loves the crowd. I'm sure they love her back, considering most of the guys in that crowd will be men. And here comes Molly McCann rapping for England, with an Irish woman in her corner, or walking out with her. That is Leah McCourt, who is a welterweight featherweight, I believe, which is quite strange because she's not actually that big, but I'm guessing she's just competing at featherweight because the talent in Bellator is quite light. But interesting, Belbita with a decent size advantage there. Did not expect that. And you know, if you know anything about Molly McCann, if you have ever followed Molly McCann's career, you will know she loves to give her opponents tons of shit at the weigh-ins, and Belbita gets a good dose of Scouse attitude there. If you're from the UK, you will know that those Scouse girls are very, 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 very feisty, and Molly McCann no different. But she is an absolute legend. And now, this is Manny Bermudez. Shame on you, Manny. Shame on you. In fact, you know what I mean? I never like to criticise fighters because ultimately they've all got more balls than I will ever have. But if we want to talk about fighters that have played dirty, Manny Bermudez and Deron Wynn, they probably deserve a decent amount of criticism here. You know, Manny Bermudez was missing weight at bantamweight, and now he's stepped up to featherweight and he's still missed weight. You know, it's not fair. It's pretty damn dirty. And Deron Wynn, I mean, what the fuck can we say about Deron Wynn? It's absolutely shocking, right? But this is Charles Rosa. Boston strong. Boston's own Charles Rosa. Although, you know, very interesting that Manny Bermudez is also from Boston. And both guys roughly the same size. No size advantages there at all. Although Manny Bermudez has got those nice old long limbs that he is very effective at using for chokes and other submissions. Now, Deron Wynn against Darren Stewart. Shame on you, Mr. Wynn. Shame on you. 5'5", missing weight at middleweight. That might be the most epic weight miss I've ever seen in my life. But that will not bother Darren Stewart. If you follow Darren Stewart on social media, you will know he's an avid dancer, loves the tango, loves ballroom dancing, and you know, with the body that he is rocking, if he's got moves on the dance floor as well, I would imagine that he has a lot of success with the ladies. Darren Stewart looking absolutely phenomenal here, and the Octagon girl purposely didn't check him out there. Did you see? She purposely turned away. That is a sign that she fancies a little bit of the dentist. But here is Deron Wynn, probably the smallest middleweight to ever compete in the UFC by some margin, missing weight by 2.5 pounds. Shame on you, Mr. Wynn. What is going on, bro? What is going on? Let's look at the size difference. Darren Stewart with a huge size difference, and let's be real, probably going to be easier for him to land head kicks than jabs. I mean, look at that. Absolutely insane. Crazy size difference there. Darren Stewart not even looking Deron Wynn in the eye. Didn't even think he was going to shake hands there. Kind of showing complete disdain for him. But at the end of the day, Darren Stewart seems like a good guy. And if someone shakes your hand out, sticks their hand out to shake your hand, well, you're going to shake it. And Jillian Roberts with the MMA mastermind, the UFC legend, Dean Thomas in her corner, which is always good to see. Jillian Robertson wasn't looking the best at the weigh-ins earlier on today. Looks absolutely phenomenal. She has recovered. Looks like she's had a nice juicy steak, plenty of nice drinks, and some carbs, and she is looking one hell of a lot better now. You know, eight or so hours after the early weigh-ins. But Macy Barber also looked very good. Now Macy Barber is full of attitude, full of beans. Let's see if she gets in Robertson's face here. She is not the friendliest. Oh, she's being friendly. she's being friend. That was quite friendly. I mean, it's all business, but usually she's a little bit more confrontational than that. Not here though. It's all respect, and the girls play nice for now. Next up, Joe Lauzon competing in front of the Boston fans, his hometown fans, on Saturday night at TD Garden. Joe Lauzon, one of the most popular fighters that ever come out of Boston. I mean, he's got to be more popular than Kenny Florian, right? I mean, Joe Lauzon with one of the most exciting fighting styles in the history of the UFC. Admittedly, over the last 3-4 years hasn't looked great, but if you're a long time UFC fan, you know all about Joe Lauzon in his heyday. Unfortunately, better days, he has seen better days, hasn't he? But Jonathan Pierce, very winnable fight for him, nothing special. Typical MMA lab type guy, reasonably good at everything, great at nothing. A very winnable fight for Lauzon. Makes me feel like this matchmaking is trying to gift Lauzon a win in front of his hometown fans, but if he shows up looking like he did against Grushmacher, he will struggle against anyone. But Lauzon looking in very good shape here, although interestingly, Pierce with a decent size advantage here. Very, very interesting. Looking the much more physically imposing man as he stands next to Lauzon and mad dogs him. Be careful what you wish for, Mr. Pierce. You might just get it. And Joe Lauzon gives him a cheeky little grin as he walks away, potentially saying, you might not want this smoke in your UFC debut. Now we have Greg Hardy against Ben Sazoli. Powerful Dan Kelly. We have got some fucking legends walking out tonight. We have got, we have got Dean Thomas. We have got Dan Kelly. So we have seen Ben Sazoli's teammate pick up a win just a couple of weeks ago. Callum Potter picked up a big win against Maki Bitolo, and now Dan Kelly travelling to Boston with his boy Ben Sazoli to take on Greg Hardy, who, with the way he gestured towards the crowd, I'm guessing is not getting the best reception from the Boston fans. And I know Boston, obviously the New England Patriots are the team from Massachusetts. Is there kind of some rivalry between the Patriots and Hardy's old football clubs? I know he played for the Carolina Panthers, the Dallas Cowboys. Is there any kind of animosity there from NFL? But Greg Hardy being very gracious, very sporting there, very nice. Not that big of a size difference. Definitely the more physically imposing fighter though. And now, here we go. John Anik about to announce the two men in the co-main event of the evening. This is Jeremy Stephens against Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, there's a bit of spice for this fight. Matty Betts, nice one, man. Matty Betts has just told me there's no rivalry with the Patriots. The crowd in Boston, I guess, just giving Greg Hardy a bit of needle because he's an absolute twat. So that makes sense. And I know the TD Garden, the fans in there are quite rowdy. All those Boston Bruins fans going to be creating one hell of an atmosphere tomorrow night. So we are almost at the end of these weigh-ins. We've only got 2 more fights left to go through. Jeremy Stephens and Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, this has got spicy. I mean, it was kind of interesting the first time they were scheduled to fight in Mexico City, but not really that spicy, not really that interesting because it wasn't really much rivalry between the two fighters. But shit has escalated considerably since then. Yair Rodriguez went full dickhead after Jeremy Stephens was forced to, essentially pull out of the fight after an illegal eye poke injured his eye. And then the Mexico City fans behaved like absolute cunts by throwing stuff at Jeremy Stephens and Carla Esparza and just behaving like total bastards, to be honest. And then Yair Rodriguez behaved like a total cunt as well, getting aggressive with Michael Bisping, which is really disrespectful because let's be real, Yair Rodriguez will never achieve even 10% of what Bisping has achieved in Bisping's career. Rodriguez simply isn't good enough. So super disrespectful to disrespect a UFC legend like that. I've got to be honest, I hope Jeremy Stephens absolutely murders him because Yair Rodriguez has behaved like a total prick. And hopefully Stephens teaches him some respect on Saturday night. At the end of the day, be humble or life will humble you. And when Michael Bisping's just trying to, give you an interview after, what I understand is a disappointing night, you don't fucking push a UFC legend away. At the end of the day, he's achieved way more than you will ever achieve, Yair, so shut your face. And again, I mean, Jeremy Stephens has built a reputation for being an absolute crazy horse, a wild man, a wrecking machine, a true warrior. As warriors go, it doesn't get much better than Jeremy Stephens. And for Yair Rodriguez to insinuate that Jeremy Stephens, quit, that's what he's insinuating. He's saying Jeremy Stephens is quit. He actually said in his media interview this week that, he's wearing goggles. The troll is real. Jeremy Stephens with the goggles, looking in good spirits here, which you'd like to see. But Jeremy Stephens, Yair basically said that he knew that things weren't going to go well for him, so he basically quit because he was scared. Absolutely ludicrous. Jeremy Stephens, not that kind of guy. And something tells me that Yair Rodriguez may have poked the bear in the worst kind of way this weekend, and I can't see this fight ending well for him. Stephens ready to go. Stephens, I mean, if you look at the body language of these two guys, Yair looks a little bit shook, whereas Stephens looks like he wants to rip his face off right now. I mean, if you look at these two boys here, Jeremy Stephens, I mean, you always talk about emotions affecting fighters, right? Sometimes when fighters fight emotionally, it's not good. Ronda is like the best documented case we've got. But sometimes fighters fight better angry. And you absolutely know Stephens is the kind of guy that performs better angry. When when there isn't any needle or spice to a fight, and he's in these sort of like tactical, technical, strategic matchups like we saw with him against, Moicano and Zabit and Holloway, he doesn't perform at his best because, it takes a while to find his range. But when he just gets into these absolute wars, fights like the Emmett fight, he's at his best. And you want Jeremy Stephens to fight angry, because when he goes out there and he's looking for war, that is when he performs his best. He is the exact kind of guy you want fighting angry. So I can't help but feel Yair Rodriguez might have bit off a little bit more than he could chew this weekend. But only time will tell, right? That's what they say. The best part about MMA, the best part about UFC, we get to find out. And that is basically, to quote Jeremy Stephens, Jeremy Stephens said, if he thinks I quit, well, guess we're going to find out, because we're going to run it back. Very, very, very interesting. So, boys, as we get into wrapping this live stream up for where we react to the weigh-ins, please hit the like button if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the weigh-ins. What do you think of Deron Wynn missing weight? What do you think of Manny Bermudez missing weight? What do you think of Yair Rodriguez and Stephens? Do you think Stephens looked a little bit shook there? Do you think that Yair Rodriguez looked a little bit shook? Do you agree with me? Do you think Stephens was looking ready to go, whereas Yair was looking a little bit nervous? Let me know and leave a comment below. I read every single comment. I really appreciate it, boys. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And for everyone watching on Twitch, thank you for being here. I will be doing another live stream in the next hour or two, where we'll be live researching the video between Belbita and Molly McCann. So if you want to get in on that, and you're watching on YouTube, check me out, twitch.tv Diary of a Pro Gambler. If you subscribe to the channel on Twitch, you will get notifications whenever I go live. But this is the main event now. This is Dominic Reyes against Chris Weidman. Let's see if we got any questions on Twitch. Lidos is asking if she's single. I'm guessing he means Macy Barber or Gillian Robertson. I think they are. I think they're both single, actually, because Barber was trying to slide into Paige Van Zant's husband's DMs to provoke a fight. And Gillian Robertson said that she just lives by herself with her dog. So you might have a chance there, Lee. Especially with all the money we make in live betting, mate. You know what they say about girls, right? Girls don't like boys. Girls like cars and money. So I'm sure they will like all the money you are earning with us in live betting, dude. What else have we got here? Back to the weigh-ins. Yeah, I'm not liking the way Weidman looks, boys. I thought that he would look a hell of a lot better than this. We'll see. Maybe he's one of these guys that just, when he is absolutely shredded like he looks at middleweight, maybe that's because the weight cut's really tough and he is depleting his body. Now that he's carrying a little bit more fat, maybe he will look a hell of a lot healthier. Who knows? Who knows? With Dominic Reyes ready to go, weighing in under the limit, and Reyes not with too much of a size advantage, to be fair. Definitely looks like the more physically imposing fighter, but nothing crazy. I'd like to see a side-on view. Are we going to get it? Doesn't look like. Nothing major. Nothing major. Obviously a bit of a size difference there, but absolutely nothing major. And the Chris... Well, that's going to be it, boys, for the weigh-in. So I will just check and see if we've got any questions. Leave your questions, and I will answer them. If there are no more questions, that will be it. Xander Money has asked if I expect Stevens to take Yair down or just a pure stand-up fight. It would be smart for Stevens to take Yair down because he has a big advantage on the ground. He's definitely the stronger wrestler, but that's not how Stevens rolls. I think that this will be a stand-up fight. I Click You Tilt has said, with all this happened between Stevens and Rodriguez, he likes the under 2.5 rounds more at odds of 2.60, which is plus 160. What do we think? I don't like that, dude, just because Yair Rodriguez is so fucking tough. I mean, we saw the damage that he took in his fight against Korean Zombie. He was busted up so badly. The damage that he took against Frankie Edgar before, he was eventually forced, basically, to end the fight. So I don't like the under because we know Stevens and Yair are absolute warriors, and they're basically the kind of guys you have to kill in order to beat. And that is that, boys. That is that. That is going to be it for the weigh-ins. We'll just bang through the rest of these questions. Tasmanian 187 has said Yair is durable but hasn't fought a power striker like Stevens. Let's have a little look-see. Might be a good point there, dude. Might be a good point. Yeah, Korean Zombie's not a power striker. I mean, I know he KO'd Moicano, but that was a bit of an anomaly. Korean Zombie definitely doesn't have that much power in his hands. Edgar doesn't either. BJ Penn at the stage in their career didn't. Alex Caceres didn't. Andre Philly didn't really. Dan Hooker didn't back when they fought in 2015. Charles Rosa's primarily a grappler. Good point, actually. Good point, Taz. Tasmanian 187, one of my VIP members. Shout out to you, dude. Yeah, for sure, man. I agree with Taz. That's a great point. Yair hasn't really fought very many power strikers. Bopham Coach has said, why waste the video on them when odds are minus 600-ish? Instead, the other fights you haven't broken down yet. Well, maybe Belbita is a good bet. I mean, we certainly know Molly McCann has got some huge holes that could be exposed. Her takedown defense isn't very good. Her ground game isn't very good. So whenever I see a fighter like Molly McCann as a big favourite, I guess my spidey sense is tingling. I start, wondering why they're such a big favourite. So that is why we should be taking a look at Molly McCann and Belbita. How are we going to know there's no better opportunity on that fight without researching it? And anything that we do learn from research will help us in live betting. So it's not a waste of time at all, man. It is a very, very valuable use of time. Mao111 has asked, what's the bankroll suggested for live bet? As much as you can afford, dude. As much as you can afford. Ledosis123 has said, which fight are you most looking forward to in the upcoming months? For me, it's Gregor versus Lee and Usman versus Colby. I can't wait for Diaz Masvidal, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. And Definite Integral saying Belbita is horrible. We will see pretty soon. I will be back in the next 2 hours, guys, to do the live research video for McCann and Belbita, and then after that we'll do a live research video for the fight between Carl Botniak and Sean Woodson, and then that will probably be it for me for this weekend and videos that I will be putting out, because the UFC is Friday this week instead of Saturday, like I said, which means one less day of research. So that is going to be it for this live stream, boys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Keep an eye on your Twitch notifications. I'll be back in an hour or two. Hope you come back and join us. So take care, everyone. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of these weigh-ins. And I will be back very, very, very soon. And take care, everyone. And I will see you in a bit.